morning all of you. Myself Priya teacher, and I am going to teach you science subject for class 7. Okay. So, in our previous class we discussed about the nutrition in plants. We started with nutrition in plants and the mode of nutrition and also types of nutrition. So, we learned about autotrophic nutrition, then heterotrophic nutrition, and also we discussed process of photosynthesis. Okay? And also we discussed about the functions of stomata. So, hope all you understood these all concepts which I taught you in our previous chapter. Okay? So, today we are going to learn the next part of this chapter. We are discussing chapter number 1, nutrition in plants. So, today I am going to teach you that next part of this chapter, which is a next part of this chapter which is known as heterotrophic mode of nutrition. Okay? So, see nutrition in plants. So, already I told you the definition of heterotrophic nutrition. So, what is mean by heterotrophic nutrition? That I told you already, but in this presentation I am going to teach you specially parasitic and saprophytic mode of nutrition. Okay. So, see one more time I am going to repeat this heterotrophic mode of nutrition, what it means. So, see the mode of nutrition in which organisms take in ready made food made by the plants. Okay. So, plants and animals which cannot produce their own food, and so they are dependent on green plants or other organisms for their food. So, already I told you meaning of heterotrophic nutrition. So, there are different modes of heterotrophic nutrition. First one, it is a parasitic, second one it is a saprophytic, then third one it is a insectivorous, and fourth one it is a symbiotic. So, these are the 4 different modes of heterotrophic nutrition. So, let us discuss first parasitic mode of nutrition, first mode of nutrition from heterotrophic nutrition. Okay. So, first one, parasitic mode of nutrition. So, in this picture you can see a yellow wiry branched structure twining around the stem and branches of a tree. So, here you can see some yellow wiry branched structure twining around the same. So, this is a plant called cascata, or it is also known as amarbel. It does not have chlorophyll, that is why it is a heterotrophic nutrition, heterotroph. Okay. So, it takes ready-made food from the plant on which it is climbing. Okay. So, let us see video for this parasitic mode of nutrition. First of all, these are organisms which depend on other organisms for their food. First one, first example, it is a cascata, second one it is a rafflesia, third one it is a corpus flower, then loranthus and mistletoe. So, see these are some examples of parasitic mode of nutrition, and here you can see pictures of all these plants. So, there are types of parasitic mode of nutrition. Again, there are 2 types of parasitic mode of nutrition. First type, it is a total parasitic plants or total parasites, and second one it is a partial parasites. From their names you can understand. So, what is mean by the total parasites and partial parasite. So, let us discuss one by one. First one, total parasites. So, the plants which depends completely on the host plant for nutrition, they cannot do photosynthesis. So, these plants are called as totally parasites. So, for example, cascata here you can see, then second one rafflesia, second image you can see, and then third one it is a corpus. Okay. So, then we can watch a short video on a cascata. So, cascata plant, how it grows on other plants and how it can be it can use other nutrients of other plants. You can see here. So, see in first click you can see here it is tightening around the other plant. Okay. So, it is growing on the stems or branches of other plant. Here you can see. Around other branches or other stems of plant, or it is host we can say. Okay, here you can say the all when it is started and it is completely, see after regrowth it is turning around the stems and branches of all that whole host plant. So, which is a host plant on which these plants are going to twining around or they are going to grow up. Okay. So, these plants are called as a host. So, there is a regrowth of all these stems or wiry branches here we can say, and you can see only yellow structure there which is a host plant. Where it is a host plant we can't see it because of this cascata plant or amarvel plant. So, next example we will see. So, tell me which is the largest flower in the world. So, all you know that the largest flower in the world, that is Rafflesia. Okay. So, here see interesting thing is that it does not have leaves and proper stems. So, in Rafflesia flower, interesting thing what it is that we can't it does not have leaves and proper stems. It means only flower structure is there in this plant or in this type of flower. Okay. See, we will see video directly again. So, I am going to mute this video and I will explain only. You can see here a Rafflesia flower which is having 5 petals and which are little bit orange or reddish orange in color. We can say it is looking like a carrot, and here inside that flower there are some hair like structures and spine like structure which is helping that flower to trap different types of insects or flies. Flies and insects can be trapped by these hairs which are inside there in a Rafflesia flower. Or after 6 and 7 days, after blooming of 6 and 7 days, this flower can be die or it dies. Okay. So, here you one more structure I will show you. See, this is a bud of the structure which is growing on another plant. Roots of another plant. Okay. So, here we can see that structure, it is not bloomed. When it will bloom after some days, then it will die after 6-7 days. It is not a bloom structure, it is only on the way of blooming, or it's a initial part of growth stage of that flower. Next. So, next concept, it is a partial parasites. So, in partial parasites, it means these plants which are partial parasites obtain some of their nutrition from the host. It means, see, in total parasites what happens, that these total parasitic plants are taken all the nutrients from another plant. Okay, or another living organisms, so that they can live and they can complete their life cycle. But here in partial parasites what happens, they can obtain some of their nutrition from the host. It means these plants are having chlorophyll in themselves, and also they can perform photosynthesis process. But some types of nutrients, for example nitrogen you can say, so nitrogen they cannot obtain from another plants, or some types of minerals also they cannot obtain from, they cannot prepare from themselves. That is why they are dependent for these nutrients and minerals on another plants. So that is why these are called as, so these are not completely parasitic, they are taking only that much nutrients or those nutrients which are not prepared by these plants. Okay. So see, example of these partial parasites are Mysto and Loranthus. So here is the first structure which is of Mysto, and then second one it is a Loranthus, are the partial parasites which are also called as a hemiparasites. As a parasitic plant, it grows on the branches or trunk of a tree and actually sends out roots that penetrate into the tree and take up nutrients and water. So with the help of these nutrients and water, they can produce their own food by the photosynthesis process. Next mode of nutrition, it is a saprophytic mode of nutrition. So saprophytic mode of nutrition, in this type of nutrition, see here it is activity given in your textbook for the saprophytic mode of nutrition, or to study saprophytic mode of nutrition, there it is a activity given in your textbook. What you have to do, take a piece of a bread and moisten it with the water and leave it in a moist warm place for 2 or 3 days or until fluffy patches appear on them. Also you have observed sometimes we kept that bread into our fridge or in our home, and then what happens 2-3 days, after 2, 3 or 5, 6 days we forgot to eat that, and we can see after 5-6 days that fluffy structure or fluffy patches appear on them after some time. So here also you have to do, take a piece of a bread and moisten it with water and leave it for the 2-3 days and observe the patches. So no need of microscope, here given that you have to use microscope or magnifying glass, but no need to use magnifying glass or microscope, you can see your naked eyes also sometimes. You will see cotton like threads spread on the piece of bread. This is called bread mold or rhizopus. So why this occurs on that bread? So what you can see, that bread mold or rhizopus, it is called bread mold or rhizopus. So because of these bacteria, what happens, that bread, it is not eatable, sorry, okay. So we cannot eat that bread. Then plants that get all their nutrients from the dead and decaying matter is called saprophytic, and they are non-green due to absence of chlorophyll. So in this type of nutrition or in saprophytic nutrition, what happens, plants that get all their nutrients from their from dead and decaying matter, so it is called as a saprophytic. So anywhere there are dead or decaying matter of plants also and animals also, what happens, these types of plants, they can grow on these dead and decayed matter, and these plants are not having chlorophyll. That is why these are non-green plants. These are called as a non-green plants. So some examples of this saprophytic plants. First one, it is a mushroom. So see here you can see the structure of mushroom plants here. So these plants which are performing saprophytic nutrition, they are called as saprotrophs. So these organisms are called as a fungi. Here you can see the structure of fungi. They have a different mode of nutrition. They absorb the nutrients from the dead and decaying matter. This mode of nutrition in which organisms take in nutrients from dead and decaying matter is called saprophytic nutrition. So already I told you what it means, saprophytic nutrition. So such organisms with saprophytic mode are called as a saprotrophs. So here you can see the structure of fungi. On bread, when you will see bread molds, so this type of structure you can see on that. With the help of microscope, if you will see that molded bread, then what you will see, that this type of structure you will see, and it is having the bag like structure on upper side, and also this is a root like structure you can see, and these bags are nothing but these are called as a sporangium, and these are having spores. When that complete growth of these plants done, after that this sporangium burst and it will grow again this type of plant. So sometimes on shoes, leather bags, leather belts also were spoiled by the fungus during the rainy season. So have you saw when sometimes we kept that shoes in a moist area, or in the they will wet because of rain, and you will keep that for few days, and then after that you will see that fungal structure or that fungus can grow on that shoes also, but where is there leather belts or also leather bag, you can see this type of structure. So the fungal spores are generally present in the air. So where these fungal spores are present, so these can be present in a air, and because of that they can capture these leathery things and grow on that leathery things. Okay, when they land on wet and warm things, what happens? They germinate and grow. When they get this leathery structure or then wet or warm things, they can germinate there. And fungi also grown on pickles also, then clothes also, and other articles that are left in a hot and humid weather for the long time. Suppose there is a hot temperature and also humid is there in weather, then what happens? We can see this type of fungus is grown there on different types of things also, and also in a food we can see in pickles or bread, I told you, and some other food substances also we can see this fungus can grow. So these type of fungus will secrete digestive juices to dead part of the plant or animal, such as leather, cloth, etc. So they are secreting digestive juice to dead part of the plant, and that it is converted into a simple form. So what they are getting? A complex form of the nutrients or the substances, but they are converting them into a simple form, or they are diffusing them, we can say. They absorb nutrients from these solutions, so form, that is why our leather, shoes, bags, belt, etc. will spoil due to the fungal growth. So this is the saprophytic nutrition, and these are the saprotrophs. So children, what we discussed today? So today we discussed about, first we started with a heterotrophic nutrition. So what it means, heterotrophic nutrition? So the mode of nutrition in which organisms take in ready-made food made by the other plants. They are not preparing their own food, or they cannot prepare their food by themselves. That is why they are taking food which is made from the other plants, and they can complete their life cycle, or they are dependent on other plants for the food. These plants are called as heterotrophs, and this type of nutrition it is called as a heterotrophic nutrition. Then next concept we learn about the types of heterotrophic nutrition. So in that I told you, in the mode of heterotrophic nutrition there are 4 types. First one, it is a parasitic mode of nutrition. Second one, it is a saprophytic mode of nutrition. Then third one, it is a insectivorous mode of nutrition, and fourth one, it is a symbiotic mode of nutrition. So these are the 4 types of heterotrophic nutrition. From that, first one, parasitic mode of nutrition we discussed. In parasitic mode of nutrition, these are organisms which are depend on other organisms for their food. Again, there are 2 types of parasitic nutrition. First one, it is a total parasitic plants, and second one it is a partial parasites or partial parasitic plants. So in these total parasites, what happens? So these total parasitic plants or total parasites are totally dependent upon other plants for their food. They cannot prepare their food at all. So they are not having chlorophyll also, and also they cannot prepare their food, and they are taking all the nutrients from the other plants. So that is why these are called as by growing on another plant, they can take these nutrients. So that is why these are called as a total parasites. And second type, partial parasites. In partial parasites, what happens? These are having chlorophyll sometimes, and they can prepare their food themselves, but then also they are growing on another plant, and they are taking only that much nutrients which are necessary for preparing to them, preparing food, and they cannot prepare by themselves. That is why they are dependent for some types of nutrients on another plant. So for example, for nitrogen, for water, they are dependent on another plant, and they can grow for this purpose on another plant, and they can made their food by themselves. They are taking only some nutrients from another plant, and they can prepare their own food. And these are some types, some plants from these are having chlorophyll in themselves. Then next concept we learn, and also we saw the different videos for the parasitic mode of nutrition. Some examples we saw live here. So first one, first we discussed, first we saw Cascata, then Rafflesia, then corpus flower here, and after that we discussed the second mode of heterotrophic nutrition, which is a saprophytic mode of nutrition. So what is mean by saprophytic nutrition? So here, so these organisms are dependent on other plants, but how they are dependent? So they absorb the nutrients from the dead and decaying matter. So it means this mode of nutrition in which organisms take in nutrients from the dead and decaying matter. So that is why it is called as a saprophytic mode of nutrition, and these plants are called saprophytes. So some examples we learn in saprophytes or saprotrophs. So fungi, here we can see structure, and second one it is a mushroom. So in rainy season also waste products are there. On that you can see that umbrella like structure, small umbrella like structure. These are nothing but the fungal structure, or that mushrooms you can say. Okay, so umbrella like structure, it is a mushroom, and then some fluffy structure, it is nothing but the fungal structure. Okay student, so in previous chapter we discussed about the autotrophic nutrition of plant. So there it is a activity given in your textbook for this, to study this autotrophic nutrition in plant. So today I am going to give you this activity. So you have to read only, because this activity you cannot do at your home, because you will need practical lab for this. So I am going to only tell you what you have to do. So what is the aim of this activity? So determine the presence of sunlight for the photosynthesis. So determine the presence of sunlight for the photosynthesis. This activity it is given in your textbook. So what you have to do? So you have to take 2 potting plants. Okay, sorry, 2 potted plants you have to take. Then tripod stand you have to take. Then petri dish you have to take. Then methyl alcohol you will need. Then iodine you will need. So all these things you will need. So I am going to tell you only steps of this activity. So what it is given here? So you have to take 2 potted plants, and 1 potted plant you have to keep in a sunlight, and second potted plant you have to keep in a dark room. Okay, and 2-3 days you have to keep these plants. So after that what you have to do? So you then after 2-3 days you have to take leaves of these plants, and then you have to put that leaves in a boiling water. So, you have to boil that water in a beaker, and after that you have to put these leaves in a beaker which is having a boiling water. So, after some 4-5 minutes you have to take that leaves, and then what you have to do, you have to put that leaves in a methyl alcohol for the 10 minutes. So, you have to keep that boiled leaves in a methyl alcohol for 10 minutes. After that you have to take these leaves again, and you have to wash these leaves with again water, and after washing these leaves you have to keep this leaf in a petri dish, and you have to add 2 or 3 drops or 1-2 drops of iodine solution in that petri dish, and you have to observe these leaves. So, you taken 2 types of leaves, one from one from that plant which you kept in a dark room, and one from a plant which you kept in a sunlight. So, these 2 types of leaves you taken, and you, with these 2 leaves you did same activity here. So, you kept it in a boiled water, then you kept it in a methyl alcohol, and then you kept it in a iodine solution, and after that you have to observe both these leaves, and what you will see, that you have to tell me after done this activity. But what you will see, I am going to tell you right now. What you will see, that first leaf which you kept in a sunlight, it changes in a dark color, and which you not kept in a sunlight or in a dark room you kept, that is not going to change its color. So, why this is happening? Because these are not getting sunlight. So, which leaf gets sunlight, that can be changed into a dark color, because there is a presence of starch. So, there is a presence of starch, it means there occurs photosynthesis process because of sunlight. But when we kept that plant in dark room, there it can't be occurring of photosynthesis process, that is why no starch is there, that is why no color change is there. Okay? Have you understood? So, read this activity at your home, then I will explain when you will discuss with me. Okay? Thank you.